This is Arkies in the Beltway, your look at national politics and the Arkansans influencing the discussions. I'm Alex Thomas, Washington correspondent for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, reporting from the nation's capital. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Arkies in the Beltway for the week of March 23rd, 2025. A quiet week on Capitol Hill. Senators and House members were away from Washington last week, instead spending time in their states and districts. A snapshot of what Arkansas's lawmakers were up to. Representative Steve Womack of Rogers met with Marshall Islands President Hilda Heine in Springdale. Northwest Arkansas, home to the largest Marshallese community outside of the Pacific Island nation, people of the Marshall Islands may live in the United States as lawful non-immigrants as part of the United States Marshall Islands Compact of Free Association. Representative Rick Croft of Jonesboro spent time traveling across his district, meeting with people impacted by this month's tornadoes. The Democratic Party of Arkansas called on the state's federal lawmakers to hold town hall events amid questions about President Donald Trump and his administration. Former gubernatorial candidate Chris Jones organized one such event. Attendees packed Little Rock's First United Methodist Church last Tuesday, upset about the president and the nation's current trajectory. Organizers invited Senators John Bozeman of Rogers and Tom Cotton of Little Rock, as well as Representative French Hill of Little Rock. None of these lawmakers appeared at the event. Something on Capitol Hill to watch in the coming weeks and months: plans for budget reconciliation. The Senate and House of Representatives approved separate budget blueprints in February, calling for cuts to federal spending. The House plan goes further than the Senate resolution with its spending reductions and pushes for extending the 2017 tax breaks. Agriculture advocates hope the spending cuts do not affect Inflation Reduction Act dollars meant for conservation programs. Invest in Our Land promoting a recent analysis showing Arkansas farmers are set to receive $665 million over the next 6 years as a result of Joe Biden's signature climate law. Texas is the only state forecasted to receive more money for conservation than the natural state. Jonathan Coppice is a professor of agricultural policy at the University of Illinois and is responsible for the analysis. He has been tracking Inflation Reduction Act funds for conservation programs since the law's enactment in August 2022.
Conservation funds are for a specific set of purposes, practices, outcomes that we're trying to get accomplished, that farmers are trying to do, that improve their farms, that improve water quality and soil health and those sort of things.
Coppice is concerned the drive to cut spending could mean an end to these Inflation Reduction Act dollars. The Senate resolution calls on the House Agriculture Committee to find spending cuts amounting to $1 billion over the next 10 years. The House blueprint mentions $230 billion in cuts over the same period. Neither plan specifies how House committees should address spending cuts. Coppice says if Congress opts to curtail these Inflation Reduction Act funds, it could jeopardize conservation efforts on farms and ranches across the country.
We will see less practices adopted to reduce nutrient losses or to improve soil health. And so it has really, I think, important implications for agriculture and for all of us.
During Farm Bill discussions last year, congressional Republicans suggested reallocating Inflation Reduction Act dollars into the reauthorized multi-year Farm Bill, warning of a conservation cliff when the funding expires in September 2031. Senator Bozeman wants the Environmental Protection Agency's review of a waterways rule to result in certainty. Bozeman joined other federal lawmakers earlier this month at EPA headquarters when Administrator Lee Zeldin announced the agency and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will revise the Federal Waters of the United States definition. This rule, commonly referred to as WOTUS, determines federal jurisdiction over navigable waters and what bodies are subject to pollutant regulations. Bozeman speaking with the Democrat-Gazette.
The Constitution is very clear that the federal government has jurisdiction over navigable waters. And through the years, we have a situation where that navigable water has turned into almost any body of water at present.
The Obama and Biden administration sought to expand what waterways are eligible for protections, while the first Trump administration restricted the definition. The Supreme Court in 2023 diminished the EPA's authority to only navigable waters and wetlands with a continuous surface connection to a larger body of water. Zeldin, a former Republican congressman, said the EPA's upcoming revision should provide a clear understanding of protected waterways. He added the agency will make changes through reviewing input from across the country, as well as the Supreme Court's decision in the Sackett versus EPA case.
We are not looking for this to be a ping pong anymore. What we're looking for is to simply follow the guidance from Sackett.
During the announcement ceremony, Bozeman recalled conversations that he has had with farmers concerning water regulations and the confusion stemming from recent changes.
You can play with bad rules, you can play with good rules. If you don't know what the rules are, you simply can't play. It freezes people.
American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall lauded Selden's decision. Duvall addressed the attendees of the announcement ceremony as well.
Our farmers and ranchers want to do what's right. They just want to know what right is.
Earth Justice, a nonprofit organization prioritizing environmental causes, pushed back against the EPA's move, saying the revision will likely endanger waterways and public health. Coming up this week, the Senate and House Intelligence Committees will hear from top intelligence officials regarding worldwide security threats. FBI Director Kash Patel, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard among the participants. Senator Cotton leads the Senate Intelligence Committee. Representative Crawford chairs the House Intelligence Committee. Representative Hill is also part of that body. The Senate Intelligence Committee hearing will happen Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock Central. The House Intelligence Committee hearing Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock Central Time. And that'll do it for this edition of Arkies in the Beltway for the week of March 23rd, 2025. You can stay up to date with all news involving Arkansas at arkansasonline.com. Special thanks, as always, to the team down in Little Rock. I'm Alex Thomas, and this has been Arkies in the Beltway. Thanks for listening.